What is a backwater valve and why are we using it? Great question. Out here, the street is about this high. There's a manhole. If the street backs up, it's gonna spill out that manhole. However, that manhole is higher than the fixtures I'm putting in down here, which means all that street stuff can build up into my pipes and come out unless we put in a backwater valve. It's pretty simple operation. Opens, closes. It's got a few different rules on why, where, and how we use these. The screening effect is really dangerous, so the manufacturers have to make sure your solids can go through with water and make sure that this doesn't hold your solids back. That would be terrible. This is all derived out of our code, Chapter 7, backflow protection on the drainage.
Let's talk about CPVC. Glue is applied to both the pipe and the fitting. Always rotate when making connections and when making cuts. This ensures the fitting is completely glued with no channels for water to leak by. Pro tip. Never put a piece of piping to a fitting without glue. Instead, use long pieces, swing and cut off the excess. Eventually you'll forget one and it'll get real messy. We call this a dry fitting. But there isn't anything dry about it if you turn the water on and one of those connections doesn't have any glue on it. It might take a little practice, but eventually you won't even think about it anymore. Now, the biggest drawback of CPVC is that it is fragile, especially when it gets older. So make sure it's properly strapped, 'cause we sure don't want it breaking on us in a few years. CPVC, easy.
Ever wonder what the inside of a gas water heater looks like? I'm going to show you. So this is a gas water heater, and you can tell because you've got a flue pipe outlet on the top. You've got your cold water inlet, your hot water outlet that on this water heater is actually tied to the anode rod and part of it. So the fire's in the bottom, it comes up this chimney inside. So you've got multiple heating areas around the chimney and around the bottom. Just like an electric water heater, you have an anode rod, your cold water inlet, and your temperature and pressure relief valve. And an easy way to tell if it's gas, you have a gas control valve. And then like the electric, you also have a valve to drain it for when you need to flush it.
On a rough-in shower installation, you've got hot on the left, cold on the right, and then once you've mixed your mixed water is going to have two places to go. It can either come out the bottom, if you're going to have a tub spout, or it can go out the top to your shower head.
Asking the plumbing class some basic plumbing questions.
What does IPS stand for? What does IPS stand for? General to lease.
Iron pipe size.
That's not what I'm asking. How many schedules of black steel pipe are there? And can you name them?
There's 40, 80, and 120.
Okay. Oliver. Dabuba da Baba? Stop. Dabuba da Baba? Yo, Santo. What is the current worth of one Bitcoin?
Current worth of one Bitcoin?
Oliver,
Like,
see if he wants us to move the packs that's in the PVC.
2 million?
Matt, you're going to be in the interview right now. Alright, so Matt, when are you not allowed to use Teflon tape?
On copper?
Chris, what are the 3 ways to connect copper?
Solder.
Are you a black belt?
Yes.
Okay, it's stopped up. What should we do? You need these. You need this right here too. Well, water's gone. Rigid. Good tube. Water's draining perfect.
Here are a couple tricks of the trade when you're doing groundwork piping. Use your little torpedo level to prop the pipe up out of the dirt. It seems pretty basic. I don't know why I don't see more people do this. I've been on a lot of job sites Guys are struggling, getting dirt all over their pipe. Second, when I glue up this Y, you're going to see me put a Street 90 into it. This trench is not deep. Normally I'm working a couple feet down. That little 90 trick makes things like pitching that Y a lot easier. Just line up your hash marks on the 90 with the Y, then put your level on it properly, set your pitch. You're good to go. That way you're not standing on your head trying to read your level in the dark and everything like that. It's just a little trick. Hopefully it helps somebody.
This one, it's not about being lucky or getting lucky, right? I mean, you throwing the gubbins away. If you're buying cheap brassware or someone's bought cheap brassware and you're asked to fit it, I know what you mean. You get the thin plastic 1.5 mil that goes at the bottom up, and then the nut, and then at the top you've got a bit of foam. Them things are no good, but you can go to the plumbing merchants and ask for replacement rubbers, proper rubbers, right, for basin waste. You can buy them. Rather than just jamming a load of silicone in there, that's what I would do, because you know it's done right then. Silicone it don't stick to plastic, it don't stick to the metal. It's just crap. It's just crap. But when I install them, I keep everything straight. There's nothing twisted. Everything's correct, and the correct amount of pressure is applied on the nut. Therefore, the rubbers can press down and seal the hole up. So when it's filled up with water, when I test it, the trap holds. When I let it go, there's no water coming out of the bottom. It's just, but I buy quality stuff. I work with quality products. And if they're not quality products, I go and get the right bits for them to replace the crap that they put in the box. But don't use no silicone. Silicone is only to seal the corners.
Here's some super basic stuff. For all the plumbers that work on hotel rooms in all the cities I've ever traveled to, I've seen some terrible looking shower arms. So here's a tip. Bend a couple of those tabs in, it'll hold your escutcheon where you need it. On the wall side, put your Teflon as normal. But on the head side, fold it over so that you're only covering about 2 to 3 threads on the shower arm. This will hide the tape so you don't have to look at it, and when other people walk into your freshly trimmed out shower, they're not going to go, ooh, what the hell did that dude do? See how nice and small that is compared to the wall side? Then when you thread it in, just go about 1 turn, maybe 3/4 past hand tight. You don't have to wrench these things in home. I like to use my multi-screwdriver to do that. Then, no teeth on that, pliers. Those things are smooth and they won't leave a mark. That's a key too. Don't chew this thing up. Don't make it look like you played fetch with Fido on the thing. See how clean that is? And no tape showing. Man, that looks pretty good if I do say so myself. Hopefully this helps. This is some pretty basic stuff. Have a good one. Brazing and soldering are similar processes to each other. Both involve the melting of a filler metal to join 2 or more components without melting the base material of the components. In this video, I'm brazing copper to copper using a 15% silver alloy filler metal. It melts above 1400 degrees Fahrenheit. Very basic process. It's a stronger joint than if I were to solder this particular joint together, and that's desirable for the build quality and use of the joint.